I'm Caleb,
And I'm Maddie.
and we're here to tell you about hydroelectric power.
It's worth every drop of investment. Why do we need energy solutions? Energy powers everything in the modern world around us. Billions of people lack reliable access to electricity, and the world needs an energy solution to produce large quantities of renewable and inexpensive energy as an alternative to fossil fuels.
Hydroelectric power is our solution, which refers to the production of electricity by utilizing the flow of water. Moving water spins turbine blades with electromagnets on them. This creates electricity that can be used in the existing infrastructure using nothing but water, and it creates no waste or byproducts. Hydropower is one of the world's oldest sources for energy. It was first brought to the U.S. in 1882. Famous examples of this include the Hoover Dam and Niagara Falls. As of 2016, hydropower is one of the most widespread renewable energy sources. However, it's believed that only about 2/3 of all viable waterways are used worldwide, meaning that there is plenty of potential.
This graphic shows hydropower used around the world. As you can see here, the pros far outweigh the cons. The cons include a high initial cost of investment, water source as a necessity, and hydropower plants cannot be used for individuals, rather communities. On the pros side, hydroelectric power is domestic. No other power source is as renewable as hydropower relies on the water cycle. It does not produce greenhouse gases like fossil fuels or biofuel. There are low operating and maintenance costs. The development of hydroelectric power is tied to economic growth in countries, and energy is available when needed. Production can be changed to meet demand by increasing water flow. When looking at mass production of hydroelectricity in the United States, it has increased in every region in the U.S. over the past decade and has, on average, powered over 20 million homes and has been responsible for 7% of total power in the U.S. When deciding to invest in small or large-scale operations, the size of the community or communities that the plant will be powering is taken into consideration.
Around the world, the use of hydropower has been proven to stimulate the economy. Both Brazil and Norway are huge examples of this, as Brazil has about 80% of their power supply come from hydroelectric power, and Norway has about 95% of this. Hydroelectric power can increase the gap between developed and undeveloped countries, as electricity is practically free once the country can provide the initial cost to harness the energy, and other countries have begun to implement hydroelectric power on major scales. For this picture here is of the Three Gorges Dam in China, and it's the largest in the world.
When considering environmental impacts for hydropower, there are no emissions, no greenhouse gases, and it does not pollute the water or the air. While there is some environmental disturbance that accompanies this type of power in these facilities, they eventually become integral parts of the ecosystem around them, and scientists have developed countless solutions to some of these disturbances. For example, dams have been seen to block certain fish populations from migrating, but technology has been developed to help alleviate this problem, such as a fish ladder. This is a simple series of small ponds built like steps for fish to bypass dams. This works for multiple different fish populations and is an affordable solution. Also, sometimes water that passed through the turbines has seen to have lower dissolved oxygen levels, but technology has been developed and techniques have been developed to alleviate this problem as well. Sometimes reservoirs create excess methane, which is not good, but technology has actually been developed to harness this methane and turn it into usable energy. Also, the flooding that is sometimes seen with these plants does have a disturbance and changing effect on the natural habitat surrounding it, but it has actually been seen to increase biodiversity in these regions and creates new wetland habitat that in some cases is gaining back wetland habitat destroyed from human development in the area.
The initial investment of building a hydroelectric power plant is normally pretty high. However, this isn't an issue because the production of electricity can help pay for the plant in a relatively short time. Hydropower is dependent on geography because it requires a water source, but extensive planning and the ability to transfer electricity makes it so that a single plant can provide electricity to multiple communities, and the construction of plants may displace some small water communities, but government funding for relocation can help alleviate this cost.
When comparing hydropower to its competitors, it is seen that hydropower has one of the highest energy payback ratios of all forms of energy. What this means is that with the technology that we currently have, we get the most out of what we're putting in. At over 170 to 1, hydropower bypasses what we can get out of wind energy, biomass, natural gas, and coal. And unlike all fossil fuels, the use of hydroelectric power does not emit greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change. Other forms of energy, such as hydrogen power, are much more costly and are potentially dangerous. The bottom line is that the returns of other forms of energy are not worth the investment.
Modern Norway was built and industrialized when they started to utilize rivers and waterfalls to produce electricity. Hydropower is still the backbone of the Norwegian power system and will remain so in the foreseeable future, as it is Europe's largest producer of hydropower today. Hydropower has played an important role in catalyzing economic growth in Brazil, and today the country's installed hydropower capacity is second only to that of China's. This came about because of a political dictatorship where the rulers wanted to pursue energy independency.
Hydropower is successful locally as well. The Missouri River Energy Services manages 6 dams that support 36 hydropower units all along the Missouri River. The main things that you should remember about hydropower is that it accounts for a large amount of current attainable renewable energy used in the world. It harnesses the power of the never-ending water cycle. It is already increasing in investment by global governments and has constantly been increasing over the past decade. Hydropower has one of the biggest payoffs in terms of net energy. After initial investment, the cost of maintenance is relatively low. It is a clean energy in that using it emits no greenhouse gases or pollutants of any kind, and it is one of the few renewable resources that reliably pays for itself. Always remember, hydropower, worth every drop of investment.
Thank you for your time.